A nurse shared her heart with a comatose man, unaware he was a millionaire who heard it all. But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is now. Subscribe to the channel and let's get started. The hospital hummed with the gleam of dim lights and hushed steps, its corridors soft in the evening's quiet urgency. Sophie moved through it, her pace swift, her calloused hands steady despite the ache in her chest. She was 28, a nurse with a weary grace, her focus sharp as she neared room 204, a calm where time seemed to pause. Inside lay a man, motionless, his face pale in the soft glow of the monitor. No name, no history, just John Doe on his chart, a stark label amid the machine's gentle hum. A car accident had left him broken, yet tethered to life. Sophie scanned his monitors, her movements brisk, noting the ring's weight on his hand. Matthew, it read, etched in worn script. A spark of wonder stirred through her fatigue. "I'll call you Matthew," she murmured, as if a name could anchor him here. She adjusted his pillow, her touch gentle, a quiet confession. The room's calm drew her voice, soft but urgent, like the hum of a quiet village. "Tough day," she said, a faint smile tugging her lips. "Coffee machine's down again. Third time this week." She glanced at his face, angular features, hair touched by gray, and wondered who he was. A wanderer, someone's heart. The thought brushed her mother's absence, a sharp pang. 4 years since cancer stole her mother, the hospital's rhythm and echo of those days. Sophie pushed the memory aside, focusing on Matthew's IV, its drip a steady pulse. "Rain's coming," she said, eyeing the window where dusk bled into the sky. "Smells like home, doesn't it?" She didn't expect an answer, but speaking to him eased her heart. She shared quiet thoughts. The rain tapped the window, like a memory of home, of evenings when her mother hummed folk songs, her voice a comfort Sophie clung to now. Small things spilling like the glimmer of a quiet hearth. Her gaze returned to the ring, its mystery a quiet pull. "Who's Matthew?" she asked, her tone teasing, as if he might reply. She pictured a life, family, laughter, love, a game to fend off loneliness, but the ring made it vivid. "Someone special, I bet," she said, her fingers tracing the monitor's edge, a reflex of care. The room felt alive, her words a fragile bridge weaving them together. Her shift's end neared, her pager humming softly. "You're lucky," she said, her voice light but tinged with longing, sleeping through the chaos. She checked his oxygen, her hands quick, then paused, her shadow falling across his face. "Don't give up, okay?" she whispered, her words unguarded, a quiet wonder she couldn't name. She turned to leave, her hands clenching briefly, grounding her heart eager for his story. The door clicked shut, the hospital's hush fading behind her. In room 204, her words lingered, a faint warmth in the calm. Ethan, the man she called Matthew, lay still, but her voice, soft, steady, stirred a gentle pulse in his shadowed mind. He couldn't move, couldn't name the pull, but her stories, like the whisper of a quiet evening, tugged him back, a fragile bridge to a world he wasn't ready to leave. Sophie wove through the hospital's serene morning, the soft glow of morning light and shuffle of carts trailing her steps, her mind a quiet spark. Room 204 was her haven, its pull stronger than the coffee warming her calloused hands. She was 28, her locket a steady weight, her pace swift despite the grief she carried. The door swung open, the soft click sealing her in a solitude apart, where Matthew lay still, his face pale in the gentle dusk of the room. "Morning, Matthew," she said, her voice quick but warm, like the whisper of a gentle dawn. She set the coffee down, easing the IV line to check his chart. Pulse steady, no change. Her fingers trembled on his silver ring. Matthew etched deep, a flicker of vulnerability stirring. She adjusted his bandages, her touch deliberate, each act a thread tying her to this stranger who'd become her confidant. "Sunrise was pink," she said, a smile fleeting. "Like peach blossoms, like the ones Mom used to braid into my hair." The room's solitude invited her voice, words spilling fast, unguarded. "New patient today," she said, checking his oxygen. "Kid in 207 broke his arm skateboarding. Grinned like it was nothing." Her tone faltered, her mother's memory rising sharp. "Mom said kids heal fast because they don't dwell," she said, her voice trembling, eyes flicking to the window where clouds hung low. She shifted the monitor, grounding herself, the hospital's calm a faint echo of those final days. She remembered her mother's garden, where they'd sit on summer evenings, Her mother sketching flower shops on napkins, dreaming of a life filled with daisies. Those moments, now faded, clung to Sophie like a half-remembered song. 4 years since cancer stole her mother, a wound still tender. Her father's absence, a shadow from childhood, lingered, but she held it back for another day. She pulled a chair close, the scrape sharp, leaning in. "I miss her singing," she whispered. Her words poured, unguarded, her heart laid bare to a man she thought couldn't hear. Off-key, but it was home. When she got sick, the house went quiet. Her eyes stung. Dad left after. No goodbye. She blinked hard, voice steadying, picturing her father's back as he walked away, a silhouette she'd never unsee. "Sorry, I'm a mess." A faded photograph slipped from her pocket, landing by Matthew's bed, unnoticed. A young Sophie with her mother, laughing in a garden, her mother's flower shop dream frozen in time. Sophie stood adjusting the IV, her hands quick but gentle. "You're holding on, right?" she said, a plea masked as a tease. She shared quiet thoughts, the scent of rain on her walk in, a fleeting comfort, like her mother's touch on rainy days. Each word flowing like a quiet light, painting a world for him. She pictured Matthew listening, his silence a canvas for her truths. "You've got a story, don't you?" she said, eyeing his ring. "Matthew's someone, a brother maybe." She tilted her head, half expecting an answer, then smiled, the sound soft and brief. "You're pulling me in," she admitted, her fingers clenching, a quiet anchor. The room felt alive, her voice a bridge across the dark, weaving them closer. Her pager buzzed, the shift's end near. "Gotta run," she said, her tone light but reluctant, her shadow falling across his face. Angular features, hair touched by gray. "Don't get too cozy without me." She paused at the door, glancing back. "Keep holding on, okay?" she whispered, her vulnerability a spark. Her heart laid bare to his unseen story. The door clicked shut, the hospital's calm fading behind her. In room 204, the photograph lay curled, a silent witness to Sophie's heart. Her stories lingered, their weight like mist after rain. Ethan, trapped in his silent world, felt a soft ripple, like a faint beacon, kindled within him. He couldn't move, couldn't speak, but her truths, tender and steady, were stitching him to life, a beacon guiding him toward the world, a story he yearned to share. Sophie darted through the hospital's morning rush, flickering fluorescent lights and hurried steps filling the air, her mind a restless spark. Room 204 was her focus, a stillness amid the bustle. She was 28, her calloused hands steady, her movements purposeful as she clutched a half-drunk coffee. The door swung open, its soft click a shield against the din, revealing Matthew, still and pale, sunlight washing over his bed. "Hey, Matthew," she said, her voice quick but warm, like the pulse of a quiet morn. She set the coffee down, aligning the IV drip to check his stats. Vitals steady, no change. She studied his silver ring, Matthew etched in worn script, its significance a pull in her thoughts. She opened the curtain wider, her touch a quiet vow. "Rough morning," she said, words tumbling. "Guy in 209 griped about his eggs. You'd find it funny." A smile flickered, brief, as she studied his face, etched with quiet resolve, softened by morning light. Who was he? The question burned, no longer just duty but a longing to know the man behind the silence. She sat softly by his side, leaning close. "Mom loved puzzles," she said, her tone teasing but earnest. "She'd have spun you a tale, a sailor maybe, or a dad with a big laugh." Her mother's memory, 4 years gone, was a quiet echo, not the weight today. She remembered her mother's hands, piecing together jigsaw puzzles on rainy afternoons, teaching Sophie to find patterns in chaos, a lesson she now applied to this stranger's silence. The room hummed with her voice, alive, as if her words could stir him. "Who's Matthew?" she asked, leaning in, her gaze on the ring. "A brother? A friend?" She imagined a life, journeys, love, loss, each guess a thread weaving them closer. "You're kind, I bet," she whispered, the words slipping free, bold. "Your face says so." The confession rose, a quiet wish for his truth, and she smiled, the sound soft. "I'm crazy talking like this, but you make it easy." She spoke of small things, the warmth of her coffee, a small anchor in the rush, the way Clara's laughter in the break room had lifted her spirits. Nurse Clara had stopped her earlier, sharing a story of a patient who'd woken after months, her words a quiet encouragement. "You're doing something special, Sophie," she'd said, her smile warm. Sophie carried that now, a spark of hope. "I want to know you," she admitted, her voice barely a breath, a leap into the unknown. The thought was absurd, yet it rooted her, a glimmer in a soft dawn. She stood adjusting his monitors, her hands swift but careful, her heart racing with a truth she couldn't name. Her gaze caught his hand, and she froze. His fingers twitched, a faint tremor like a leaf in a breeze. "Matthew?" She breathed, eyes wide, waiting. Nothing followed, the room still. Her pulse raced, hope and doubt tangling. She shook her head, muttering, "Wishful thinking, Sophie." Her hands clenched again, grounding her. "You're still here, right?" she said, her tone light but pleading. Nurse Clara passed by, nodding. "You're good with him, Sophie," she said, her smile brief but kind. A colleague's call echoed, another task waiting. She grabbed the chart, hands unsteady, and headed for the door, pausing, her gaze lingering on his face. "Keep fighting, okay?" she whispered, her curiosity a quiet fire, eager to unravel his story. The door clicked shut, the hospital's rush fading behind her. In room 2104, the photograph lay by the bed, its edges curled, a silent echo of Sophie's mother's dream. Ethan, the man she called Matthew, remained still, but that twitch stirred a bright spark, igniting his shadowed heart. Her voice, earnest and true, pierced his darkness, her questions painting his world with life. He couldn't move, couldn't speak, but her wish, like a flame kindled in the morn, was pulling him closer to the light, a bond he couldn't let break. Sophie hurried through the hospital's evening stillness, the cool touch of tiled floors and soft footsteps trailing her, a single daisy clutched in her calloused hand. Room 204 was her anchor, a gentle calm in the fading light. She was 28, her steps resolute, her heart alight with a hope that grew each day. The door swung open, its soft click sealing her in a quiet haven where Matthew lay, his face pale in the soft shadows of evening. "Evening, Matthew," she said, her voice quick but warm, like the breath of a quiet evening. She set the daisy carefully on the tray, its white petals stark against the sterile surface, and checked his chart, vitals steady. "Found this in the garden," she said, adjusting the lamp to catch its glow. "Mom used to say flowers bring life." She gazed at his silver ring. Matthew etched deep, its weight a quiet pull. The gesture was bold, a vow to reach him, steadying her heart. She remembered her mother's garden, where daisies grew wild, her mother's laughter filling the air as they picked flowers together, a memory that fueled her hope now. She adjusted his IV, her hands swift but gentle, each touch a thread weaving them closer. "Busy shift," she said, words spilling. "Lady in 212 sang to her grandkid. Broke my heart a bit." A smile flickered, fleeting. The daisy stirred a memory, her mother's garden, alive before cancer's shadow. 4 years gone, but another wound pressed today. "Dad left when I was 10, she said, her tone earnest, leaning forward in the chair, her breath steady. "Just walked away. Mom said he couldn't carry love." She saw her father's silhouette, fading into the dusk of her childhood, a pain she'd buried but now shared with this silent stranger, hoping he'd hear. Her fingers tightened on the chair, grounding her, the room alive with her voice. "She loved daisies," she said, softer. The flower a bridge to her mother's heart. Called them honest. The confession glowed, a soft resolve to his silence, burning through the calm. She eyed the ring, its weight pulling her thoughts. "Who gave you yours?" she asked, teasing but earnest. "Someone who knew you, I bet." She imagined a love, a loss, her heart reaching for his story. "I brought this because you matter," she whispered, her voice trembling, the daisy her promise. She smiled, the sound soft. "You're making me soft, Matthew." Nurse Clara handed her a chart outside, whispering, "You're keeping him going, aren't you?" Sophie nodded, her hope firm. She spoke of small things, the flicker of dusk outside, a promise of rest, the way her mother's daisies seemed to glow in twilight, each word a stroke in their quiet world. "I hope you feel this," she said, her voice barely a breath, a plea to his silence. She stood checking his monitors, her hands precise, the daisy a spark in the dark. The clock's tick signaled, another call looming, but she lingered, her gaze on the flower. It was a small act, yet it shifted her, a hope she'd fight for, no matter the odds. "You're not alone," she said, her tone firm, a pledge to the void. The photograph by the bed, unnoticed, curled at the edges, holding her mother's dream. She turned to leave, glancing back, her eyes tracing his features, carved with quiet strength, softened by twilight's glow. "Keep fighting, okay?" she whispered, her hope a lifeline, her heart set on his return. The door clicked shut, the hospital's stillness fading behind her. In room 204, the daisy stood sentinel, its petals a mirror to a memory Ethan couldn't grasp, a flower from a grave tied to the ring's weight. Her voice, earnest and steady, wove through his darkness, a gentle tide anchoring her hope, pulling him closer to the light. Sophie weaved through the hospital's midday rush, the glint of polished steel and urgent voices ringing, her heart a fierce drum. Room 204 was her beacon, a refuge where Matthew lay. She was 28, her cheeks flushed with defiance, her hands steady as she pushed the door open, the soft click sealing her in a world apart. "Hey, Matthew," she said, her voice quick but warm, like the call of a midday storm. She adjusted the window blind, light softening his bed, and adjusted the oxygen flow. Vitals steady, a faint uptick in response. Her eyes fixed on his silver ring. Matthew etched deep, its mystery fueling her defiance. "You're still with me," she said, straightening his pillow, her touch a lifeline to a man she'd fight for. The break room's sting lingered. A colleague's jab. "You're too attached, Sophie. He's a lost cause." The words had cut, but she'd clenched her jaw, unyielding. "They don't see you," she told Matthew, her tone sharp, adjusting his IV with swift hands. "You're not a chart." Words spilled, fierce and urgent. "Kid in 210 drew a sunflower today, lopsided. Mom would have loved it." Her smile was fleeting, her mother's garden a quiet memory. 4 years faded but alive in her heart. She remembered her mother's joy at simple things, like a child's clumsy drawing, a warmth Sophie now channeled into her fight for this stranger. She pulled a chair close, the scrape loud, her hands clasped, grounding her. "I dreamed of running once," she said, voice low, fierce. "New city, no past. But now," her gaze locked on his face, etched with silent strength, alive in her defiance. "I'm fighting for you. I need you to wake." The confession surged, a defiant cry to his stillness, rippling through the room's refuge. She smiled, the sound sharp. "Your trouble making me care." The colleague's doubt fueled her fire. "I won't quit," she whispered, her defiance a vow. Nurse Clara passed, offering a quiet nod. "Keep at it, Sophie," she said, her tone soft but sure. Nurse Lynn joined her, her eyes kind. "You're giving him something to hold on to," Lynn said, sharing a story of a patient who'd responded to a nurse's voice. Sophie nodded, their support a quiet strength. She spoke of small things, the weight of her resolve, steady as the noonlight, the way her mother's sunflowers seemed to defy the wind. Each word wove them closer, her heart open. "I want to matter," she said, her fingers near his hand. "To you, maybe." The admission glowed, fierce as a blazing spark, and she froze, heart racing. His chest rose, fell. Then, a subtle shift, his breathing quicker, a rhythm alive. "Matthew," she breathed, eyes wide, leaning closer. Nothing more came, but the change was a spark, igniting her resolve. Her pulse thumped, defiance blazing. "You're in there," she said, her voice firm, a command to his silence. She stood, adjusting his monitors, her hands precise but trembling, the glow a testament to her fight. Her pager buzzed, shattering the moment. "Always something," she muttered, adjusting the blind again, the light a quiet promise. "You're not alone," she said, her tone unyielding, a pledge and a plea. The photograph by the bed, unnoticed, curled at the edges, holding her mother's dream. Nurse Clara's quick smile outside bolstered her. "You've got this," she whispered. Sophie turned, her hand hovering near his, a final vow. "Keep fighting, okay?" she whispered, her defiance afire, sensing a shift she'd chase. The door clicked shut, the hospital's rush fading behind her. In room 204, the glow held, fierce and fragile, mirroring a loss Ethan couldn't name. In his silent world, Sophie's voice, fierce, unyielding, cut through the fog, a fervent pulse, her voice his guide. His breath, that faint shift, was a sign, binding him to her, sealing her hope but unveiling a deeper longing, like a crack in a village well, stirring a truth he couldn't yet grasp. Sophie rushed through the hospital's tense afternoon, the flash of white coats and hurried steps sharp in the air, her pulse a frantic rhythm. Her trembling hands clutched a handwritten poem torn from her notebook, whispers of Matthew's stirring vitals, driving her to room 204. She was 28, her cheeks flushed, her locket a quiet anchor as she shoved the door open, the soft click sealing her in a haven. The room was a haven, sunlight streaming through the window, casting Matthew's face in a pale glow. His eyes, green and piercing, were open, fixed on her, a jolt that stole her breath. "Matthew," she gasped, the poem slipping to the tray. He was awake, his presence raw and real. "You're awake," she said, her voice quick, fervent, like the sigh of a fading evening. She steadied his shoulder as he sat up, his body weak from weeks of stillness, wincing with each move. Adjusting his chart, she noted a pulse strong, oxygen steady. "I'm Sophie," she stammered, words clumsy, as if meeting him anew. His gaze held hers, searching, a faint smile curving his weathered face, alive with awakening eyes. "Ethan," he said, his voice hoarse, a note in a gentle twilight. She sank into the chair, the scrape loud, her locket swinging gently. "You scared me," she said, teasing but unsteady, her heart trembling. "I thought you were gone." His eyes softened, her fingers brushed his ring. Matthew etched deep, forging a bond. "You talked to me," he said, each word deliberate, like notes of a gentle twilight. "Every day, I heard you." Her stories, sunflowers, rain, her pain, hung exposed. She flushed, twisting the locket. "You weren't supposed to," she said, smiling, the sound soft but wavering. "I thought you were lost." Her eyes flicked to the poem, her heart open on paper, her chest tight. She'd poured her soul here, believing it safe, and now he saw her, unguarded. Ethan's gaze was steady. "Your voice," he said, reverent, "kept me here. The sunflowers, your mom's songs. You gave me a reason to fight." The words landed, ignited, a tender connection she hadn't named. "I didn't know," she whispered, voice breaking. "I just couldn't let you be alone." Nurse Clara poked her head in, the one who doubted her. "You were right, Sophie," she said, warm. Nurse Lynn nodded from the hall, a quiet nod to her care. Sophie smiled, her defiance softening. The room their truth's cocoon. "Tell me something," Sophie said, hungry. "Who's Matthew?" Ethan's smile faded, eyes clouding. "My brother," he said, soft. "Gone years ago. We dreamed of building a shop together, selling flowers by the river, laughing over silly names for it. But when he died, I built an empire to escape, and it left me empty." His wound echoed hers. 4 years since her mother's death, a decade since her father's betrayal. "I'm sorry," she said, her hand near his. Close, a quiet bond. "I made you a poet in my stories," he smiled faint. "I like that." Ethan's gaze fell to the photograph by the bed, its edges curled. "Who's this?" he asked. Sophie picked it up, trembling. "Mom and me, in her garden. She'd sketch flower shops on napkins, dreaming of daisies for everyone." Their eyes met, a shared loss sparking, her mother's hope alive. "You're not just anyone, are you?" she asked, probing. "Just Ethan," he said, a shadow of wealth fading. "I was someone else, but your stories changed me." Her pager buzzed, intrusive. "Duty calls," she said, reluctant, adjusting his IV, hands steady. The poem glowed, her hope's testament. "You're really here," she said, smiling, her steps sure. "Don't disappear." His fingers brushed hers, a promise. "I won't," he said, stronger. She glanced back, her shadow falling across Matthew's face, whispering, "Rest up, Ethan," the name heavy with meaning. The door clicked shut, the hospital's clamor fading behind her. In room 204, the poem stood sentinel, mirroring a loss Ethan hadn't fully shared. Matthew, whose death drove a hollow empire. Sophie's voice, her poem, her pain, wove into him, a lifeline unasked. Survival wasn't what he found. It was a yearning, her presence his home, tethering him to a world he couldn't leave. Sophie slipped through the hospital's serene dawn, the crisp touch of dawn air, a gentle hum in the corridors, her soul steadier than ever. Room 204 was a memory, its bed empty 6 months since Ethan's discharge. She was 28, her steady hands cradling a small notebook, her locket a gentle weight. The garden called where Ethan waited, a vow kept. He stood by a bench, lean, weathered by time, leaning on a cane, his steps steady after weekly physical therapy and outpatient visits. Strength slowly regained. His green eyes, sharp yet soft, found hers, a smile breaking like the sheen of a quiet dawn. "Sophie," he said, his voice clear, no longer room 204's hoarse whisper. She grinned, her steps quick, resting her hand beside his, their shoulders close, a shared warmth between. The garden was still, flowers damp with dew, the hospital's hum faint. Ethan bore no trace of the billionaire he'd been, his wealth a cage he'd fled. "Your stories showed me more," he'd said, his ring etched with Matthew, a wound from his brother's loss. Their hearts entwined, a shared truth, her stories his redemption, their bond deeper than dreams. "I brought this," she said, her voice quick, warm, opening the notebook. Pages held her heart's stories, her poem and a pressed daisy within. "What I told you," she said, soft, fervent. "It's yours." Ethan's fingers traced the pages, reverent, like holding a star's glow. "These brought me back," he said, his eyes meeting hers, her poem a lifeline. Her locket gleamed, her mother's love steady, 4 years grief eased, shared. Ethan felt Matthew's absence, but Sophie's stories had kindled a purpose where wealth had failed, finding peace in simplicity, his past redeemed. "I'm starting a foundation," he said, deliberate, like the whisper of a soft morn, "for cancer patients in your mother's name. Community gardens, her flower shop dream. I've dissolved the company, redirected everything." Sophie's breath caught, the photograph in the notebook, her mother, her, a garden, alive in his gift. She envisioned the first garden, CUC Trang No Row, benches where patients could rest, a corner for Matthew's lilies. "We'll start by the hospital," Ethan said, "a small plot with roses and sunflowers, open to all, a place for stories like yours." Sophie nodded, seeing her mother's sketches come to life, a legacy of healing through flowers. They planned together, their voices weaving dreams of gardens across the city, a shared vision rooted in love. She smiled, a vow returned. Nurse Clara waved from the window, her hug from yesterday a nod, Nurse Lynn's glance echoing Sophie's care. Sophie spoke of small things, dew catching dawn's first light, the hospital lighter now, the air carrying a hint of spring. Ethan listened, his silence warm, reborn. "No penthouses," he said, firm. "Just this." He gestured to the bench, to her, their simple truth. She laughed, light, free. "Good," she said, sure. "I'm not letting you go." Their hands brushed, a spark, the daisy's hope, kindled in room 204, blooming in their dawn. "We'll build it together," Sophie said, her hand in his, the foundation their shared purpose, a life grounded in quiet love. The ring's weight, sparking her curiosity that first day, had woven this dawn. The hospital stirred, but they lingered, shadows blending in the dawn's glow. "We're okay," she whispered, a truth. Ethan nodded, his smile and exhale, like a folk song's close, they're healing enough, a tender dawn of stories and love. A year later, Sophie stood in the hospital's first community garden, Sekuk Trang blooming under a soft autumn sky, their petals swaying in a gentle breeze. She was 29 now, her calloused hands softer from months of tending soil, her locket still a gentle weight against her chest. The garden was alive with quiet chatter, patients, families, nurses, each drawn to the rows of flowers, benches, and a small plaque. "For Anna, whose dreams grew here." Sophie's mother's name shone in the sunlight, a testament to love. Ethan walked beside her, his cane lighter in his grip, his steps surer after a year of recovery. His green eyes, still sharp, held a warmth that mirrored the dawn they'd found together. The foundation had grown, its gardens spreading to nearby hospitals. But this plot, their first, was home. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a cluster of lilies by a bench, Matthew's corner. He'd have loved it. Sophie smiled, remembering Ethan's stories. Nights by the river, he and Matthew planning a flower shop, laughing over names like Riverside Blooms, dreams cut short but reborn here in this garden. They'd built it together as promised. Sophie had sketched the layout, her mother's napkin drawings guiding her, while Ethan secured funds, his old empire's wealth redirected to healing. They'd spent evenings planning, laughing over coffee stains on blueprints, arguing about flower types, CUC Trang for her mother, lilies for Matthew, roses for the patients who'd shared their stories. The hospital staff joined in, Clara planting the first seedling, Lynn organizing patient visits, their laughter filling the air as they worked side by side. The garden wasn't just flowers, it was a place for hope, where people sat, talked, and found peace, a living echo of Sophie's mother's dream. Sophie knelt by a CUC Trang, her fingers brushing the petals, remembering that evening in room 204 when she'd brought one to Ethan, then Matthew, a stranger who became her heart. "They're honest," she murmured, echoing her mother. Ethan knelt beside her, his hand grazing hers, a familiar spark. "Like you," he said, his voice low, steady. She laughed, the sound free, and leaned into him, their shoulders touching, the garden wrapping them in its quiet embrace. An older woman approached, her scarf bright against her pale skin, her smile tentative but warm. "These flowers," she said, "they make it easier to breathe." Sophie nodded, her throat tight, knowing her mother's dream lived in every bloom, every moment of solace. A child ran by, clutching a sunflower, her laughter mingling with the breeze, and Sophie saw her mother's joy in the girl's eyes. Ethan squeezed her hand, his ring catching the light, a reminder of Matthew, of the stories that had stitched them to life. They stood watching patients wander the paths, some leaning on canes, others pushing wheelchairs, all finding something in the flowers. Clara waved from a bench, Lynn beside her, both smiling as they chatted with a family. The garden was their shared creation, a place where loss became hope, where stories grew like the Kuk Trang Sophie had once placed by Ethan's bed. "We did this," Sophie whispered, her voice thick. Ethan nodded, his arm around her, the ring's weight a quiet vow. "For them," he said, "and for us." The sun dipped low, painting the garden gold, and Sophie felt her mother's presence in the light. Ethan's warmth beside her, a home she'd never expected. They lingered, the world soft around them, their dawn unbroken, a life woven from quiet love, and the stories that had saved them both. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that hope can be found in the most surprising moments, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Love Story. We bring you stories that touch the soul, renew your belief in kindness, and highlight what's truly important in life.